What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another video. I've just travelled over 100 miles from Hertfordshire down to Poole in Dorset because today we're attending Southwestern Vehicle Auctions Classic Car Sale. Now they host 4 of these each year, one in the winter, one in the spring, summer and autumn. Now I'm down here for the autumn 2024 Classic Sale. I've recently released videos on a couple of other auctions that I've attended, Hobbs Parker down in Kent and WB & Sons up in Newcastle. But for one reason or another, their sell rate hasn't been too good and some of the cars I featured just didn't sell. But today I've got a real good feeling about SWVA. It's my first time here. I can't wait to get in and start looking around some of the lots. I'm also going to register to bid because I do have my eye on one of the vehicles. And down here you have to pay 10% on the hammer price, but this is inclusive of VAT. So if the car goes for £2,000, you only have to pay £200 on top, and that's inclusive of VAT. Anyway, I'm going to stop waffling along. Lauren isn't here today because it's midweek. It's actually Thursday, so there's no fancy intro. Let's get in there and take a look around at some of the vehicles on offer.
The first car we're going to be looking around is this 1976 Mark II Escort L. Now this has only covered, wait for it, a warranted 10,000 miles from new, which is simply incredible. It roughly averages out to be 220 miles per year. Absolutely astonishing. The story with this Mark II Escort is that it was owned by the vendor's brother from 1976 all the way up until he sadly passed away in 2020, and that's when the vendor took ownership. So the V5 will state that it's had 2 previous keepers. It's finished in Bermuda blue with the black vinyl roof, and I'm not joking, this is in immaculate condition. Being just a 2 family owner Escort, it comes with lots of paperwork and history. Now it does still come with the original bill of sale, which back in 1976 cost £2,279.89. The Mark II Escort also came with some factory fitted extras, including mud flaps and interior mats, but more importantly it's got confirmation of Zybar rust proofing from new. As we take a look under the bonnet, it's less easy on the eye, just purely down to the surface rust, but I've had a good scratch around this for quite some time and it really is just surface rust. I've looked at the heater bubble, these always go right down here where it joins the bulkhead, but that is solid. This has been looked after so well, but we do have some rust appearing, so that will need attending to. Now in here we have the original 1.3 crossflow engine, only covered 10,000 miles, it's barely been ran in. Now down here at Southwestern Vehicle Auctions this week, the estimate for the Mark II Escort is £8,000 to £10,000. £5,000.
£5,000, 5,2, thank you sir, 5,2, 5,4, 5,6, 5,8, 5,8, £6,000, that's easy, £6,000, 6,2, 6,2, 6,4 is online, sorry, 6,4 online, 6,6, 6,6, 6,6, 6,8, 6,8, £7,000 in the hall, £7,000, that's £7,400, I thought it was going to make more, 7,500 online, 7,5, 7,6 in the hall, 7,6 in the hall, 8,500 online, you've been watching too many programs at 8,500 online, 8,500 online, well that's the offer, it's online at 8,500, it's going to be a provisional, 8,500, too much packets of cash, too many, listen to them, because they're professionals at 8,500.
The next lot we're going to be looking around is this Renault Clio Mark II Phase 1. It's a 172. Now this might not be a classic car at the moment, but certainly a future classic and a desirable car. They're getting very scarce on the UK roads. Now this example has been owned by the vendor for the past 12 years. The interior presents itself in fair condition. There's quite a lot of wear to that driver's seat bolster, but it does have the navy half leather and half Alcantara seats, which would look lovely when they're scrubbed up. The exterior presents itself in the same fair condition. It's still featuring its original OZ F1 15-inch alloy wheels, which are all wrapped in Michelin Sport tyres. Now the paintwork isn't bad. It does feel like it's got overspray on it, but I believe it's probably just been parked under a tree, and that's tree sap that's still on the paintwork. Really needs a good detail. Looks like they got lucky with the car's registration. The front headlights are slightly cloudy. They could do with a slight restoration. The Clio comes with a good history file with invoices and old MOTs totaling £2,000. It's got 76,000 miles on the clock and it's MOT'd, ready to go until May 2025. Now the estimate at Southwestern Vehicle Auctions is £3,000 to £4,000.
£2,000, 22, 24, 26, in the hall of 26, 26, 28, 28, 28, 28, I take £100 bids now. At £2,800, anyone want to have a go? At 28, provisional bid, 28.
Next up, we're taking a look around this 1973 Mercedes W114 280E. Now this has just got a remarkable story with it as well. Just 35,000 miles on the clock, and it's only had 2 owners from new. The description reads that the one former keeper owned the Mercedes for impressive 43 years, and the 280E has always been garaged and never taken out in the rain, preserving it to its remarkable condition. The Mercedes is finished in burgundy over a cream interior. Now the vendor has owned this for 6 years, but it has remained family owned. The genuine 35,000 miles is warranted and backed up by various service history and past MOTs. In the engine bay we've got the 2.8 litre 6-cylinder engine. I was just talking to a gentleman here and we're both quite surprised at the estimate on the Mercedes 280E. It's just £5,500 to £6,500.
8.5, £9,000 on my condition, £9,000, 9.5, £10,000, £10,000, 10.5, 11,000, 11.5, 11.5, 12,000, 14.5, 15,000, 15,000, 15,500 online, 16,000 there, 16,000, 16,500. 16.5, you've got to be quicker, sir. 65, 17,000. Lovely estimate. This is a 19.5, 20,000, 20,000 back, 20,000 back, 21.5 there for the second. 21,750. 21,750. 21,750. I know who wears the trousers in your relationship. 21,750. 21,750. 22 on the phone. 22 on the phone. 22 on the phone. The hammer is on. 22 on the phone.
Now who thinks they recognises this interior? We're now looking around a 1975 Ford Granada. The interior is not in the best of conditions, unlike some lots we've previously looked around today. So I started off with the door cards, just looking at them, and it was only when I looked around here at the back of them, they're actually originally grey. And it looks like what someone's done is they've actually brush painted these to make them beige. This Granada is a 3 litre XL, and it's quite the rarity to find in the UK these days. But this one has been imported from South Africa back last year, 2023, which kind of explains some of the bodgery. I feel a bit bad for calling that Clio a fair condition earlier, because this Granada certainly is fair condition. As you can see, the window rubber here has been masticed at the top. I can only assume that was leaking. The bodywork is in a bit of a worse state. There's quite a few nasty dings, dents, knocks all over the place. It's got marks everywhere. But as for rust, it doesn't really seem to have too much. Under the bonnet we have the 3 litre V6, believe it's running and driving, is now a MOT and tax exempt car. I believe it's had the Nova certificate and everything to be UK registered, as there is UK plates on it. There is quite a lot of surface rust under the bay, but nothing too bad, no real holes or anything structurally to worry about too much. The Granada's showing 11,000 kilometres on the clocks, but probably believed to be 111,000 kilometres. Now the estimate here at Southwestern Vehicle Auctions is 4,750 to 5,750.
3,000 man with 3,000 man, 32 and 1, 32 and 1, 30 more in the hole, 30 more in the hole, 30 more in the hole, we're back, and 3,000 more in the back, 50 on line, 3, 4, 50 on line. It's against you in the hole, and 3, 4, 50. Well, that's the offer, it's going to be a provision.
And what an absolutely stunning interior we're starting off in the next classic. This is a 1990 BMW 318i S. This is a two-door saloon variant of the E30. One thing I don't like in this interior is the check plate. Ugh. Everything else is lovely, but it needs some original mats. The BMW is powered by the renowned M42 engine. It's a 16-valve double overhead cam engine producing 136 brake horsepower. Now in the bay, it looks like it's been treated or covered with some sort of wax oil-like substance, which is seemed to protect the metal under the bonnet. The 318i-S comes with a comprehensive history file, including MOTs dating back to 1997. It also comes with parts invoices totalling over £23,000. Back in 2023, it also had some welding, which stacked up to nearly £3,000. Now personally, I'm not a fan of the aftermarket alloy wheels. It would be nice to see some age-related BMW alloys on there. Now this also comes with the original bill of sale from back in 1990 for £15,500. Now here at Southwestern Vehicle Auctions, it's offered considerably less, with an estimate of £3,000 to £4,000.
£1,000 a pound, 1,750, 1,750, £2,000, in all of £2,000, £2,000, 2,250, in all of 2,250, 2,500, in all of 2,500, at 2,500, in all of 2,500, 2,750, in all of 2,750, 2,750, £3,000 in the hole, at £3,000, 3 3s in the hole, then at 3, and your bonus on 3.
For the next lot, we're starting under the bonnet, looking at this 1.6 Ford CVH engine. This is a XR3i, a 1987, but it's been made to look like a RS Turbo. It's got the styling and the badging to suit. Taking a look inside the Escort, it's showing 35,000 miles on the clock, but this is not warranted. The vendor has owned this for 5 years and states that it's had a outer seal replaced and new front panel whilst in their ownership. The Escort is slightly rough around the edges. I'm just here by the near side rear wheel arch, and there's quite a lot of bubbling starting here. I think this whole rear quarter panel has been painted at some point. Also, the spoiler has got lots of cracks in it. So yeah, it does really need some attention. It's a shame really. It's got the aesthetics of a RS Turbo, but deep down it is still a XR3i. But it is on the road. It's got valid MOT until September 2025. The Escort has also got a factory fitted sunroof, but unfortunately this is just on the turn as well, starting to bubble up. You know there is some rust under there. Anyway, that's a brief look around the Escort. I think this is a usable classic. It's got quite a nice estimate on it at £4,500 to £5,500. So let's find out what that sells for.
£2,000, £2,000, 2 there, in all of 2 2, 2 4, 2 4, 2 4, 2 6 at the back, 2 6, 2 6, 2 8, 2 8, 3 4, 3 6, 3 6, 3 6, you want 3 8 at the back? At 3 6 it is then, at 3 6. And your Vauxhall 3 8, to get another £100 to go on if you quick. At 3 8, here's your bid, 3 8. Number please.
Moving on to the next lot in this 1986 Talbot Samba. Now, I'm not sure how this auction has done it, but they've gathered together some incredibly low mileage vehicles. This Talbot has only covered just 22,000 miles. That is absolutely crazy. Now, it has been off the road for some time. It was dry stored between 2008 and 2023, and therefore has had a slight bit of a recommissioning recently, including a full service, brake overhaul, bits and bobs like that. It really is all in the details. You can still see the spot welds on this near side front sill, along with the wheel arch. Look at that, all the original spot welds. Just crazy to think that this has covered such low mileage. I wonder if it's still the original paintwork as well. The Talbot Samba is a compact city car produced by the PSA Group. Now, this was produced between 1981 and 1986, so this is a very late car. Comes with its original factory sunroof, but unfortunately this is the only section that lets down the Talbot. As you can see, there is corrosion along the gutter line. Just starting, all of the windows are etched. That's something you don't get anymore. Now, the Talbot is on the road. It's MOT'd until February next year, so ready to drive home from this sale. Under the bonnet we have a spare wheel, but there is a engine hiding under there. I was just admiring the originality of the seam sealer under here. It's great to look around a car that you know that hasn't been messed around with, hasn't been resprayed, hasn't been re-seam sealed. It's just lovely. Such original condition, and the estimate is really nice and pleasant with this one. It's only 1,800 to 2,800. I think that's such a low estimate for a clean, usable classic.
2,000 pounds. Do you want 21? 21, 21, 21, do you want 22? No, that's 21. Pound bid, Sarah, 21, 22 online, 22 online, 22 online, 3 in the hall, 23 in the hall, 23 in the hall. It's a lovely old thing. This is a 23 in the hall. Around the offer, Sarah, 23, at 250 online, 2350 online, at 2350. That's it.
Just look what I've stumbled across now. This 1972 Mark I Ford Escort Mexico is described to be in simply stunning condition, and I've got to say, from the off, it looks amazing. Now, that door isn't out of plumb, it's just ajar, but let's have a look inside. This is described to have a full restoration, and I've got to say, it is just lovely in here. You can tell that the door cards, the seats, even the headlining have either been reupholstered or are brand new. This really is lovely in here. You've got that 6-dial sports dash. It's showing 55,000 miles, although that is unwarranted. The description reads that the vendor has only owned the Mark I Escort for 3 years, but the previous keeper owned it from 2005 to 2021, and in that time it had a full restoration. It's got the correct engine in it, the 1600 Crossflow, and as you can see, absolutely stunning. The VIN number is still on the strut top like it should be, and everything's placed in the right places and mounted perfectly. It's certainly one of the better restorations that I've seen recently. There was no expense spared with the Daytona yellow as it continues on the underside. Just look at that, done absolutely perfectly. There is a few little quirks. The passenger door has a couple of little paint runs and there's a little chip on the bonnet, but there's always going to be something that I can find. Anyway, the estimate at Southwestern Vehicle Auctions is £27,500 to £30,000.
On commission at 20,000 pounds, 21, senior 21, 22, 23, 23, 24 outside of senior 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 28, 500, 29, 500, 30,000 pounds. The sold ticket goes on at 30,000 pounds. The second lovely car. I wish I could afford it. 30,000 pounds. My wife made me sell one.
A subscriber of the channel just came up to me called Ben, and he was really happy because his best mate Ryan has just purchased this RD350 motorbike. Now I don't feature a lot of these, but seeing as he's a subscriber and they're both really happy, I thought I'd whack it on the channel. Really cool. I'm not quite sure what they paid for it. I know it went over its estimate, but yeah, that's a cool bike. Anyone that's into bikes will hopefully appreciate this little segment. Next up, we're looking around this 1956 Ford 100e Prefect. This has recently undergone recommissioning and restoration work after being laid up for 5 decades. The description reads that the vendor who has owned this for 2 to 3 years has completely changed the 100e from a barn find condition back to a usable classic. I love what he's done with it. There is a tiny little repair over here to the headlining, but he's kept the original one, kept the original seats, tiny little repair, well quite a big repair to that passenger seat, but it's got a new carpet in there and the door cards look in fairly good condition. So I like the way he sort of kept some parts original that could go again, and then bits like the carpet he's added in, which are aftermarket but look brilliant. Now my dad's owned a couple of 100Es over the years. Used to have one laying in the garage ever since I was born. I love the indicators on these in the middle of the steering wheel. Absolute bonus with this lot, you get £1 back. As I mentioned, the car has benefited from a extensive recommissioning and restoration work, including a full respray, an engine rebuild, the installation of a new oil pump, water pump, exhaust system, electrics, brakes, clutch, tyres and new carpet. There really has been quite a lot of money spent on this little 100e. It's great to see a 100e here at the sale. Obviously it's tax and MOT exempt. Really nice estimate with this one as well, just £4,500 to £5,500. What a usable classic. Someone's clearly spent a lot of money on that.
22 there, sorry, 22, 24, 24 there, 24, 24, 24, 26 there, 26, 28, 28, 28, 28, 28, £3,000 there, £3,000. With the family conference, at 3600 and 37. They've obviously had an agreement. 37. Do you want 38? 38. 38. We're going to have another conference. 38. 38. He shakes his head. 38. 38. I'm not taking 50. So 38. That's the bid. 38. It's on my right. 38. See what you do when.
Now this might be the most modern lot of the auction, but it's not to be laughed at. This is one of 100 Astra 888 turbos. It's such a rare car these days. I wonder how many of the original 100 produced are left on the UK roads. There is a common misconception that I only like classic Fords, but this isn't the case. When I was younger, I was really into the Vauxhall British Touring Car Championship teams, and this special edition 888 Astra was made because of the 888's success in the championships. If that interior wasn't striking enough, we've got the 17-inch OZ racing wheels, accompanied by that Europa pearlescent blue paintwork. Here is Vauxhall's 2-litre turbocharged engine, pumping out 187 brake horsepower. The 888 Astra has covered 66,000 warranted miles and it's got valid MOT until May next year. The only thing I can pick up is the front splitter has been slightly damaged. There's a little scuff on the bumper, so that might just want respraying, but overall it's in lovely condition considering it's over 20 years old. Now the estimate for this one is 8,750 to 9,750. Not going to see one of these go through the auctions again anytime soon, so let's find out what that makes.
6.5, 6.5, the total commission 6.5, 750 online, 6,750, £7,000 on my commission. That's £7,000. That's £7,000 on my commission. 7,250 online. 7,500 on commission. 7,500. 7,500. 7,500. 7,750 online. 7,750. 7,750 online. 7,750. 7,850. 7,850 on my commission. 7,850. And you got Vauxhall. 7,850. That's the bid then. That's 7,850.
Here we go, 58.
How about this 1989 Ford Sierra? This is the rare 2.9 injection 4x4 estate. This is finished in black, but it also has the gold striping specials down the sides. With valid MOT until June 2025, the Sierra estate is on the road, ready to take home. It's covered 94,000 miles, which has been warranted by the auction house, and it's nearly been in the same family for 30 years. The 4x4 Sierra comes with a substantial history file with MOTs dating back to 1992 and invoices for work carried out totaling £5,500. Now it is on the turn slightly, as you can see from this rear window rubber. It's very crusty and there's even a hole starting to form. Offside rear window just starting to go underneath that rubber. This wheel arch on the offside is actually all good, but on the other side it will need some attention. Under the bonnet we have the Cologne V6, which pushes 150 brake horsepower. That's a really nice and reasonable estimate on the Sierra estate, just £1,800 to £2,800. Been such a reasonable price for classic that you could whiz around in, do some running repairs, and yeah, I really do think some would have a bargain at that price.
£100 in the hall, at £1,500, 17 online, 19 in the hall, at £1,900, with the whole there, £2,000, at £2,000, the bid in the hall at £2,000, 2-1 online, 2-1, 2-2's back in the hall at 2-2, at £200, taking 50s, at 2-250 online, 2-250, 2-3 in the hall, no, at 2-250 online then, at 2-250, that's the bid, 2-250.
Now I'm looking around this rather charming, very late 1980 Mini 850 Super. It's certainly not a show winner, but a real usable Mini that you can take out at the weekends and not worry too much about it. You don't want to be constantly looking over your shoulder. This is presented in fair condition. It's not the worst one I've ever seen. And it's got this very nice black interior. The little Mini is tax and MOT exempt. Here's a quick browse around the engine bay. Not sure what's going on up here. Might have been some excess coolant that came out of the radiator cap, but there is the 850cc engine. I was just reading the description, and did you know there was 5.3 million Minis produced up until when they ceased production in 2000? The Mini is showing 33,000 miles, although this is not warranted, so could well be 133,000. Anyway, the estimate for this is very nice at £4,500 to £5,500.
At £4,900, at £4,900, that's the offer at 4,900. Well, that's the bid, that's the offer going forward at 4,900. Initial bid, 4,900.
Okay, so when I sold my T4 at ACA auction, people said that it was a bit of a bargain. Now, I've found a very similar T4 here at SWVA. It's a 1999 Volkswagen T4 Caravelle short wheelbase. Now this one hasn't been converted into a camper. It's got the 3 seats in the back. But taking a good nosy around the inside, it all seems to be there. There's no nasty rips or tears to the seats. It presents itself in good condition considering it's done over 220,000 miles. This is said to be one of just 34 black T4s left on the UK roads. It's got these bigger steel wheels. They could be banded or they're just some bigger steel wheels compared to the originals, but being black paintwork, this usually shows up all the imperfections, and it's in remarkably good condition. I know I've just gone past this rust patch, but if I'm being completely honest, that is the worst bit on it. The rear quarter panels are fine, the rear tailgate looks in good nick. Compared to the condition of my camper, it's considerably better. Now it's quite funny because I got a message off a subscriber the other day, and my VW T4 actually featured in VW Transporter magazine November issue, and there was a brief little write-up about it and just explaining it was a auction bargain. Everywhere I look around this T4, it's just cleaner than mine was. Now here is the 2.5 litre turbocharged engine, so that'd be quicker than mine. Mine was the 2.4 variant. Now the estimate on this is nice and reasonable at £2,500 to £3,500. Now I sold mine for £3,000 and it was in much worse condition than this one, so it'd be interesting to see what this makes. Is someone going to get a bargain again?
What do we all think of that then? So that was Southwestern Vehicle Auctions Classic Autumn Sale. I really enjoyed myself, and I'm recording this a couple of weeks after, just because you have to sort of let the dust settle at these classic car auctions and let the bids be finalised, etc, etc. But what a sale that was. I have got a couple of lots written down in my notepad, so let's talk about them. The Mexico, that went at its highest estimate, which was £30,000. I think it's 33 all in, but that was just a solid price for a lovely car. And also that Mercedes 280E, who would have thought? I think it went for like over 4 times its higher estimate, went for like £22,000 in the end. Absolutely astonishing. Clearly a couple of people saw something in that car. Now I'm going to talk about a couple of lots that I didn't feature. There was another Mercedes, lot 25, and this went 3 times over its higher estimate, which is just incredible. And yet again, there is a lot 38, a Triumph Spitfire. Now this was nearly 2 times its higher estimate. Just unbelievable. And lot 75, an E-Type Jag, that was a S3 V12. It was estimated 35 to 38, and all in, it went home for £58,000 or just over, which is just incredible. Nearly touching £60,000 when it was estimated in the 30s. I think it'd be fair to say they've done pretty well with their auction. There is still some unsold vehicles like I've featured in this video, but it's quite nice. They've got a buy it now price on their website. So if you do actually like the look of them, you can actually buy them now rather than them going back to their vendors unsold. Now there is one last lot I need to mention. Now this is the Mini. This had a hammer price of £4,900, but when I went and checked their website, it was reading £4,500. Now I've spoken to Owen and he's assured me that the highest bidder unfortunately dropped out. So unfortunately it went down to one of the lower bidders and it went for £4,500, and I think including fees it went for £4,950. So that's why there was a discrepancy with the hammer price you heard on the video and the hammer price actually wrote on the video. Right, now that's all cleared up, I can give my opinion on the sale. I thought it was a lovely atmosphere, really enjoyed walking around, chatting to people. I also loved meeting subscribers. There were so many of you that come up and said hello, so I really do appreciate it. I was down at that sale on my own, so yeah, it's really nice to have a friendly face to talk to. Now, Owen was one of the auctioneers. He was paired with the other auctioneer there down at Southwestern Vehicle Auctions, and them two both bounced off each other. They were doing lot after lot, taking turns, and I thought it just worked perfectly. Now, SWVA have their next sale on the 30th of January. It's a Thursday and it kicks off at 10 AM. Now, what I'd done for this auction, I actually went down on a Wednesday and viewed, because it does start a little early on a Thursday, and I'll be doing exactly the same next time. So yeah, I can't wait to make the trip back down to Dorset and see what they've got on offer for their winter auction. But that really is about it for this video. Please do let me know your pick of the auction down in the comments below. Now, if you did enjoy this video, please do give it a like. And if you like what you see, subscribe to the channel to see more. Thank you all for watching, and until the next one, I'll see you guys later.